There is no darkness deeper than a hospital hallway at midnight. That's where our tale begins, with the young and inexperienced nurse Alex stepping into the dimly lit labyrinth of an old hospital for their first night shift. The air is thick with a mix of disinfectant and stale coffee. A faint undercurrent of unease prickling at the back of Alex's neck. Enter Nora, a veteran of countless night shifts, her face etched with lines of wisdom and mystery. Her eyes have a knowing glint, hardened by years of navigating the hospital's shadowy corridors. She offers Alex a brief tour, her voice echoing through the deserted wards, sharing cryptic warnings about the hospital's history. She speaks of odd occurrences, of fleeting shadows and distant whispers that seem to come alive when the world outside slumbers. As Nora's words echoed in the silence, the hospital's lights seemed to dim, casting long, dark shadows on the cold, tiled floor. The clock struck midnight, and with it came whispers from the void. As Alex moved through the dimly lit hospital corridors, an orchestra of distant whispers echoed through the darkness. They were soft, almost gentle, yet carried a spectral quality that sent shivers down the spine. Silhouettes flitted across the corners of Alex's vision, elusive and fleeting like smoke in the wind. The hospital, once a haven of healing, had transformed into a theatre of shadows, each one seeming to harbour a life of its own. A sensation of being watched crept over Alex, as if unseen eyes were tracking every move, every breath. This feeling, an eerie sense of not being alone, hung heavily in the air, almost tangible in its intensity. Nora, with her ageless eyes and voice that carried the weight of countless tales, revealed the hospital's haunting legend. A former patient, forever trapped in their moment of death, roamed these halls. A chill ran down Alex's spine as Nora's tale merged with the shadows dancing on the hospital walls. In the darkest corner of the hospital, where the artificial light barely reached, Alex met the unseen. A figure, spectral and nebulous, materialized before them, emanating an icy chill that seemed to seep into their very soul. The air grew thick with the weight of 1,000 unsaid words, 1,000 unshed tears. Suddenly Alex was flooded with memories, not their own but those of the figure. A torrent of emotions, fear, regret, longing washed over them, threatening to pull them under. The figure, once a patient here, trapped eternally in the throes of their final moments. In a fit of panic, Alex turned on their heels, the hospital's labyrinthine corridors stretching out before them. Shadows twisted and turned, forming grotesque shapes that danced in the dim light. Each step took them further into the maze, their heart pounding in their chest like a drum. Every corner turned, every corridor crossed, seemed to lead Alex deeper into the labyrinth of their own terror. There was no running away from the past, as Alex soon discovered. Those words echoed in Alex's mind as they stood trembling, facing the ghostly figure. Nora's voice, steady and calming, guided Alex through the confrontation. "Speak to it. Acknowledge its pain. Only then can it find peace," she said. And so Alex did. They spoke softly, their voice quivering. "I understand your suffering. You are seen. You are heard." The figure seemed to respond. Its form wavered, the hostility and anger slowly fading away. As Alex delved deeper into their conversation, they uncovered a tragic tale. A story of a patient, once full of life and dreams, now trapped in an endless cycle of fear and despair. The figure's pain was palpable, its desperation for release clear. And then the unexpected happened. The figure, once a haunting presence, began to fade. Alex had seen its pain, acknowledged its existence, and in doing so, had set it free. As the figure dissipated, a heavy silence fell over the hospital, the echoes of a lost soul finally finding peace. As the first rays of dawn pierced the hospital's windows, the night's horrors seemed like a distant nightmare. The spectral shadows that had danced in the corners of my vision were chased away, replaced by the mundane sterility of an ordinary hospital. The whispers that had echoed in the halls were silenced, drowned out by the hum of life returning to its daily rhythm. The night had been a journey, a dance with the unknown that had left me changed, my understanding of life and death forever altered. I'd peered into the abyss of mortality and had seen not darkness, but a spectral light, a beacon of hope for those trapped between worlds. The hospital was no longer just a place of healing for the living, it was a sanctuary for those lost in transition. As the day shift nurses filed in, their routines oblivious to the night's events, Nora and I shared a knowing glance. The secrets that the night shift held, secrets that now lay hidden in the eyes of Alex and Nora.
The night was dark, the storm was fierce, and I was alone in a radio station on the edge of a dense forest. The wind howled like a pack of wild animals, its gusts rattling the windows and shaking the walls. But inside, the flickering lights cast a warm glow on the walls, brimming with vinyl records and sound equipment. It was a perfect setting for my midnight music marathon. As I was setting up, my phone buzzed. It was Sam, my friend and co-worker, a voice filled with worry on the other end. He warned me about the worsening weather and odd occurrences in the area, rumors of strange happenings, unexplainable events that were whispered among the locals but never confirmed. His words hung in the air, mixing with the static hum of the storm outside. As the first crack of lightning lit up the sky, I took a deep breath, ready for whatever the night had in store. The phone lines buzzed to life, the storm raging outside, and then came the voice that would haunt the rest of my night. It was a voice that seemed to rise from the crackling static, as cold and distant as the moon that hid behind the storm clouds. The caller, as I would come to know them, requested songs that sent shivers down my spine, melodies that whispered of forgotten fears and unspoken dread. Their riddles, though cryptic, were laced with an unnerving familiarity, as if they knew the very secrets that lay in the shadowy corners of my heart. They spoke of the station, hinting at a past drenched in mystery, and murmured tales that were better left unspoken. Their words were like a fog, creeping into my mind, clouding my thoughts with a chilling sense of unease. Each call, each cryptic message was another piece of a jigsaw puzzle that I wasn't sure I wanted to complete. But curiosity, that fickle friend, began to gnaw at my resolve. Who was this caller? How did they know so much? And why, oh why, were they so interested in this lonely radio station sitting on the edge of a forest that held its own secrets? There was something about the caller's voice, something that sent chills down my spine. The storm was at its peak, and so was my fear, as the caller made a chilling request. A song, they demanded, one intertwined with the forest's dark past and whispered in hushed tones among the locals. My heart raced as I pulled up the track, its eerie melody already sending shivers down my spine. The decision weighed heavily on me, a blend of morbid curiosity and dread swirling within. But there was something about the night, the storm, and the caller's cryptic riddles that pushed me to press play. As the haunting tune filled the station, a series of horrifying events unfolded. Voices, not of this world, echoed through the airwaves, shadows darted outside in the storm, and an inexplicable sense of being watched enveloped me. The song seemed to awaken something, or perhaps someone. As the last note of the song faded, I knew I was not alone. With every ounce of courage, I decided to face the unknown. Armed with a flashlight and a heavy heart, I traced the source of the caller's signal, a twisted trail leading into the heart of the forest. The storm howled around me, mirroring the wild fear that gripped my heart. I pushed on, driven by a strange mix of terror and curiosity. The trail ended at an old, abandoned cabin, shrouded in legends and ghost stories. My heart pounded in my chest as I slowly pushed open the creaking door. Inside, I found an old ham radio, its green light blinking in the dark, and a stack of records, their labels worn by time. The realization hit me like a thunderbolt. The caller wasn't just some prankster, but a ghost from the station's past. A faded photograph confirmed my worst fears. The caller was the station's former DJ, reported missing decades ago during a storm just like this one. His love for music was his lifeline, a connection to the world he once knew. And I, unknowingly, had become a part of his unfinished story, a conduit for his voice to reach out from beyond the grave. The caller was not just a voice on the radio, but a ghost from the past, seeking redemption through the airwaves. The night's terror turned into a chilling revelation, a tale that would forever haunt the late-night broadcasts of our little radio station. As the first light of dawn broke, the storm cleared, revealing the truth hidden in the darkness. The fury of the night had subsided, leaving in its wake a quiet that was almost deafening. I found myself back in the familiar confines of the radio station, a sanctuary amidst the turmoil. The world outside, once a veil of shadows and uncertainty, now lay bare under the glow of the morning sun. The identity of the caller, shrouded in mystery throughout the night, was now clear as day. Their story, intertwined with the radio station's past, unfolded like a tragic ballad. Their intentions, far from sinister, were a desperate plea from the other side, a forgotten soul seeking solace through the airwaves. As the sun rose, I knew the night shift would never be the same again. The solitude I once cherished had been replaced with a poignant awareness of the unseen presences that shared the midnight hour. Night fell like a shroud over the ancient library, a realm of shadows and whispers. Our protagonist, Mara, a young and inquisitive librarian, stood on the threshold of her first night shift. Her heart pounded with a mix of excitement and apprehension, like a drum echoing the library's whispered secrets. The library, with its labyrinth of book-lined corridors and towering shelves, was a beacon of knowledge, a treasure trove of rare books, some whispered to be cursed. The elderly head librarian, Mr. Grayson, with his eyes reflecting decades of wisdom and secrets, passed on his cryptic warnings. Never turn off the main lights, stick to your designated areas, and ignore any sounds from the forbidden section. His words hung in the air, heavy as the dust motes dancing in the dim light. As the grandfather clock struck midnight, the real work began. The night shift, a vigil in the heart of darkness, was now Mara's to bear. In the deafening silence, the soft, insistent whispers began, luring Mara towards the forbidden. As she delved deeper into her night shift, the whispers became more persistent, almost tangible, like a silk thread tugging at her curiosity. It was a soft murmur at first, then a chorus of voices, each promising a wealth of knowledge and power hidden within the library's shadowy corners. She found herself drawn towards the restricted area, a place shrouded in mystery and off-limits to her. Yet the whispers grew louder, more compelling, seemingly emanating from that very section. Against her better judgment, Mara ventured into the forbidden territory, her heart pounding with anticipation and fear. There, amid the dusty shelves and dimly lit aisles, she found it. An ancient, unmarked book, its pages yellowed with age and its cover worn. It seemed to call out to her, its whispers now a clear, beckoning voice in her mind. Drawn by an irresistible force, Mara opened the book, and the library held its breath. The pages fluttered open, revealing grim tales of rituals and sacrifices, of a thirst for knowledge that demanded a terrible price. The ancient library was once a nexus of power, a place where the barriers between our world and the unseen were thinnest. It was in these hallowed halls that forgotten scholars traded their humanity for forbidden knowledge, their souls becoming fuel for ancient entities lurking in the shadows. As the whispers grew louder, Mara could feel the whisperer reaching out from the pages, its icy tendrils snaking into her mind. It promised secrets, ancient wisdom, power beyond her wildest dreams. All she had to do was surrender to let it in. But Mara was no mere pawn. She was a librarian, a guardian of knowledge. Despite the seductive promises and the bone-chilling fear, she resisted, her spirit burning bright against the encroaching darkness. In the face of overwhelming darkness, Mara found the strength to fight back. Just as the darkness threatened to consume her, Mr. Grayson appeared, a beacon in the storm. With an air of weary authority, he revealed the true purpose of the night shift. Not mere archival work, but a vigil against the ancient darkness lurking within the library's forbidden section. His voice, steady and calm, echoed through the grand, shadow-filled halls, dispelling the menacing whispers. In this moment, Mara felt a surge of determination. With newfound knowledge, she wielded the library's arcane lore against the whisperer. Words of power spilled from her lips, an incantation that seemed to vibrate within the very walls of the library, causing the whisperer to recoil. In a final, desperate attempt, the whisperer lashed out, its voice a tempest of rage and fear. But Mara stood firm, her voice unwavering as she completed the incantation. As the last word echoed through the library, the entity's influence waned. As the entity's influence waned, the library returned to its former calm, a deceptive tranquility, hiding its dark secrets. With the first light of dawn, the library shook off its eerie cloak. once again a sanctuary of knowledge. The menacing shadows that once lurked in the corners seemed to retreat, surrendering to the comforting embrace of the morning sun. As the golden rays filtered through the stained glass windows, they painted an enchanting kaleidoscope on the ancient weathered pages. Mara stood there, her heart still pounding from the night's ordeal, but with it there was a newfound respect. She had peered into the abyss, danced with the unimaginable, and had come out the other side, stronger and wiser. The library, with its towering shelves and endless corridors, was more than just a repository of knowledge. It was a guardian, a bulwark against the darkness that lurked on the fringes of our understanding. The library, steeped in daylight, held a different meaning for Mara now, a testament to the thin veil between the known and the unknown,